everybody. So I am so glad that you're here. Good morning. We have a lot to cover. I hope that you had a chance to watch last week's video. We have a few things to cover today. So I want to make sure, first of all, was the information that you learned last week, was that helpful? Have you been able to use it? Have you been able to put it into practice? Have you found it to be beneficial? Can you share that in the comments and let us know, is any of this working for you? I know that Amazon has been quite the interesting platform to sell on a little bit lately for some people. And, some people are like, I'm out. They have decided that they've had enough. And so they're making the decision. Some are making the decision to leave the platform. But I think that with bundles, there's a great opportunity for you to use this to your advantage. I just want you to know that. So I'm hoping that the information that we're sharing has been helpful to you. Have you been getting value in the information that we've been putting before you? Have you used any of it? How far are you in this bundles journey? So tell us in the comments. Let us know how it's working out for you, or if you're still, putting together, compiling your ideas, compiling your strategy, and determining what approach you're going to take. So where are you in this interesting and awesome journey? And have you been getting value in the stuff that we've been teaching? Let us know in the chat. And is it hot or cold where you are? Because I know the weather is changing all over the US. So are you getting value? Have you been able to use any of the strategies yet? Let us know in the chat. Right. Let me get ready to share my screen. Trying to get this box to show up in one place and not in the other. So I apologize. I moved some stuff on the slides this morning and trying to make things work. Just a second. And I am still going to schedule the, because I got feedback, we're still going to schedule the how to do your images session. So I hope that you guys will be excited about that, helping you get some amazing images without taking any pictures, because that's always helpful. Okay. I think I got the right links in the right places. It's a matter of moving stuff. Sometimes the icons are not in the right place. So I will send out a notification. It will more than likely be not next week, but maybe the following week, so that I have enough opportunity to get some of the things I need to get done. But I do want to encourage you all, like if you don't have a Canva account, go set up your Canva account so we can do that. In addition to that, I am going to send you the invite so that you can schedule your one-on-one session with me if you want me to look at your bundles or talk about your bundles and talk about your bundle strategy. So look out for those as well. So I really do hope that you all are getting value. So let's get started. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. We're in session 7, which means we only have one more session left, but like I said, I'm going to offer everybody a one-on-one session to look at their bundles or look at their bundle strategy. And I'm also going to be scheduling just the image only class, so we can just talk about creating images and do our images together on the fly. So again, it won't be next week. More than likely it'll be the following week, so we can knock this out. And then our last class is on the 26th. So just a reminder, we know that Zoom has made some updates and they have more updates to come. When we created this event, we created it to exclude, it's over 12 weeks, but we excluded 4 sessions because it's only 8 sessions live. In the midst of that 8 sessions live, Zoom made some enhancements. So the sessions that we hide are now being visible again, or not visible. They're not visible, but they're sending out notifications. And I've tried to turn it off. There's no place to turn it off. The only way I can do that is to delete the entire event based on Zoom and create brand new events so everybody re-registers. So the reason I'm telling you that is because you're probably going to get a notification about the 19th. We have no class on the 19th. Our last class is on the 26th, and then we will have an additional class before the 26th just to go over images. So I don't want you to be surprised by that if you get the notification. I can't control it. I apologize in advance. Okay. All right. So, and I also want to know, would you recommend this course to anyone else if you would share that information in the chat? We would love to know if you would share this course with anyone else. Is there anybody that you would recommend to take this course? Would you suggest people sign up for it? Let us know, because we'd like to, have that information available to us so that if there is, when we offer it in the future, and we will offer it a second time, we'll also make some enhancements to it, that it is available. And we are going to be uploading next week or the following week. We'll upload all the documents, the workbook. So if you want to go back over this at a later time, maybe you're still working through session 1 or session 2 instructions, and you want to go back through it, then you'll have a little workbook that you can go through and kind of step through all the activities and actions that I kind of recommended. So, all right, so this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Mastery. This is session 7 of an 8-part series over 12 weeks, and we are in session 7. Today's topic, we're going to be covering branding and trademark. We're going to be talking about selling on other platforms. We're also going to be discussing social signals, and then promotions, ad campaigns, and marketing. And then we're also going to do sort of a mini, we're not going to do a full review, but we'll do a mini review. Before we get that, I do want to grab real quick session 7. We had a little snafu last week, not this one. I'm showing my screen, hold on. Session 7, session 6. So there was a session 6 on customer service. I have to knock that out real quick. I apologize. For whatever reason, I missed it, and I was supposed to already have the slides up. So let me just pull up session 6 real quick. We're going to knock out the customer service real quick at the bottom. And oops, there we go. Okay, so this is session 6, the end of session 6, and then we'll go start with session 7. So in session 6, we were covering customer service and general customer service tips. So I'm just going to go through these a little quickly. The first one is some shipping suggestions that we have. Again, remember, you're the boss, you run your own business. So some shipping suggestions that we have is that when you receive a notification, because you're selling on different platforms, that your item has been sold. So we are not saying as part of the bundle strategy that you can only sell on one platform. We believe that diversification is the key to people helping to generate capital, and profit and income on any platform. So we don't want you to be stuck. So when you get the notifications, one of the suggestions that we have is that you fulfill the order within 24 hours whenever possible. That's going to help to keep your account in good standing. You want to pay attention to whatever the notification process is for the platform that you're selling on, because of the fact that there may be a customer that asks a general question about one thing that's in your bundle, or there may be something else that they need, someone else needs from your bundle. So if that platform happens to have a seller app, like Amazon has a seller app, eBay has a seller app, check those notifications for your order, for your sold, and make sure you acknowledge those in a timely manner as well, but be able to respond to the customer inquiries. Whenever you're doing merchant fulfilled, and again, I don't know what your bundles approach is going to be, whether you're going to send this to a prep center or you're going to fulfill the orders yourself, and you're purchasing shipping. We always encourage you to purchase the shipping from the back office for the platform that you're selling on, because most times their shipping is going to be a little more affordable versus a standalone, go out on your own, like USPS or FedEx by yourself and make that purchase. You may pay a little bit more. So we encourage you to buy the shipping from the platform. And if you buy it directly from the platform, what's going to happen is they will auto-populate that tracking information. If you're not going to use the platform, then you can make sure that if wherever you buy the shipping, whether you're using ShipStation or Pirate Ship or whatever, that you go in and you put in that tracking information, because that's so important. And then if you're doing merchant fulfilled, and let's say you decided you're going to use like the retail arbitrage strategy for your initial bundle testing, or maybe that's your long-term strategy forever. Make sure you remove any of the labels, stickers, prices, anything that's going to create challenges for you. And a couple of things that you can do for things that are like imprinted on the item itself. You can use a sticker. So I've used a strategy where the price might actually be superimposed, like embedded in the box itself, not necessarily a label that was put on the box, but they actually printed the box with the price on it, or they printed the outside wrapping of the item with the price on it. So Easter eggs are a perfect example. They may say $1 on them from Walmart. And so I have a boatload of those. So what I do is I use a permanent marker to write over the $1, and then I put a sticker over that, a little happy face sticker, over that little where I used a permanent marker, permanent black marker, you know, the smelly marker that they tell you in high school not to smell, that marker. And then I put a sticker, a happy face over it. And that way, when the person receives it, it does two things. If they're looking at it from the backside, that permanent marker kind of overlays a boatload of stuff. So even if it's ceramic, so like it's clear plastic, and they look at it from the backside, that permanent marker is going to bleed into whatever that price that was imprinted on the plastic. And if it's on a box where the price is imprinted on the box, then when they try to take the happy face off, it's going to rip the price off at the same time, because the permanent sticker bleeds into it. And when it's wet, if you put that sticker on it, when it's wet, anything that's underneath it gets lifted off at the same time. So that's a little hat trick that we use to kind of get rid of that. If you're drop shipping products, if that's part of your strategy, again, I don't know what your bundle strategy is going to be. I always recommend that you fill the order within 4 to 6 hours after the customer purchases it, at least within 24 hours at the latest. And the reason we wait 4 to 6 hours, after 4 to 6 hours, is because customers have buyer's remorse, and they'll go and cancel an order, or the kids got the phone. Because that's happened to me before. My son has actually bought $1,000 worth of crap on Amazon before, $1,300 to be exact, and I had to get my money back. But in any case, people do stuff, kids do stuff. And so wait at least 4 to 6 hours before fulfilling that order and shipping it off to the customer. It's trying to get that after the fact can be a nightmare. And whenever possible, include some kind of thank you note or thank you message. Don't just put the entire bundle into whatever box and just send it. And if you're using a prep center or fulfillment center, ask them to include a little thank you note with your info on it. If you decide you're going to maybe set up a Shopify store, or maybe the URL, you can include a short URL to your specific product. Now, I will tell you, don't violate Amazon's terms of service if you're selling on Amazon. You can include a little thank you, and then if you wanted to put your little URL at the bottom, you can do that. Some platforms are okay with you including like coupons to have people come back, or just because you're a great customer, including a little extra something in that packaging. So make sure you abide by whatever the platform's guidelines are, so you don't get in trouble with terms of service. When handling customer complaints, so consider not selling frequently returned items. So this is where, when you're doing your sourcing, it is so important to look at the ratings of the products that you're selling. So if you're sourcing from Alibaba or AliExpress and it's only got 3 stars, and then that supplier's only got 3 stars, I am not buying crap from either one. I'm not doing either one of those. So if you're going to put together a bundle, and you can find on any platform, whatever platform you're sourcing from, any ratings information about each individual item that's going in that bundle, do that. Make sure at least that the main item or the main 2 items that are key featured products in your bundle definitely have good ratings or good stars. If they have poor ratings and poor stars, you're going to have a lot of returns. That's going to impact your selling metrics on whatever platform you're selling on, and you're going to have a boatload of returns. You don't want that. So always be mindful and be aware of what the quality is of the product or the issues with the product. That's the reason why in sessions 1 and 2, or 2, I think it is, when I was talking about doing research, that I encourage you to go look at what were the pain points for some of the other products that may be similar to a bundle you're going to create, so that you make sure that your product doesn't create that same pain point and that your entire bundle solves that problem. Make sure that the information you list is accurate. Again, people are always asking questions. If they have to stop and type a question, and I refer to when a person is looking at your item, they're extremely interested. So maybe they're sitting on that page for a while, and then they have to stop and think about something, then that's considered what's called a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt is going to potentially cause the person to go somewhere else, go buy something else. So if your listing is as inclusive as possible, the description, the size, the colors, the name, the model number, if there's a specific model number or something like that, or a serial number, make sure all of that is included in your product description or your listing. Don't exclude that information or product, the item specifics, whatever platform you're selling on. Don't exclude that information. It's so important that you include it. When selling used products, again, make sure that they're working properly. So some people, like, they'll sell memorabilia. Maybe they'll put together a memorabilia bundle. Of course, that's all used stuff. It's not new. And you can sell memorabilia on several platforms, and it's okay to do that. Or maybe you're selling something that includes like a used item of some type, whatever it happens to be. Just make sure that all the pieces are there and everything is working properly. So one of the bundles I've done in the past is I will sell Legos, like not Legos that are in the box. Like if my kids put together a Lego and they tear it down. And so if I'm reselling that Lego, I got to go make sure all the pieces are together. So make the child go put together all the pieces. But if you're selling like multiple Legos, maybe you bought the child cars. So my son loves putting together Lego cars. I might sell 5 sets of the Lego cars with like the cutout of the box as part of the bundle. So I'm selling it, it's used. I'll put it on eBay. I might put it on Mercari or Poshmark. It's still a bundle. I'm selling 5 different cars. Just make sure all the pieces are there. When you're creating the listings, take your own photos and you're taking your own photos. Just make sure that you're taking the pictures from different angles, and we're going to do that photo class. And then make sure that they're clear and bright. If you have a lot of gray, if they are faded or whatever, you need to take new pictures. So take it from different angles. Take it from the top, take it from the side. Try not to have any shadows. And again, we're going to go through that, but definitely do that, because then what will happen is if the customer has any questions, at least they can see all the contents. We've already gone through the exercise of make sure you have everything that's in the bundle, and then make sure you take each individual item, a picture of those individual items. And if there's something specific, like there's a front to back or something, make sure you take the back as well. If the vendor or the manufacturer or supplier has the photo, or the photo already exists out there in the universe, and you can use that as well. But again, getting samples of whatever you're going to put together and being able to take your own photos is good. You can also use like a company that specifically focuses on enhancing and making marketing related images. So Graphic Rhythm Designs is one of those that does that. They make a boatload of the images that you see on Amazon products that are on, Amazon products that are on Amazon. So different sellers will use them, especially specifically if their item like has instructions or guidelines or whatever. So that's a good source, and they make some really good bundles. So make sure that you package things carefully, especially if you're sending it off to a fulfillment or prep center, if it's fragile. If any part of your bundle, 1 thing, 2 things, are going to be breakable. So maybe you have a 9-piece bundle of which 1 thing is breakable. Make sure you package that thing in bubble wrap, give it its own bubble wrap miniature envelope. You can order those types of supplies from like Bubble Fast and stuff like that. And then make sure that you put everything else together in its own packaging or in its group packaging. So personal communication with the customer every step of the way, especially in these times. We already know the USPS has been super slow. So now that is the norm for USPS. I'm experiencing that right now. I bought some shoes at the beginning of May, and they're not scheduled to be delivered until June the 15th, which is crazy. But in any case, since this is the norm on certain platforms, you have the opportunity to send your customer a message, each step of the way, especially if USPS is your form of shipping, like if that's your method. I recommended before that you actually do establish a business account with FedEx and you establish a business account with UPS, just in case. And remember that UPS does go back through USPS ground sometimes, so be aware of that. But in any case, if it's taking a long time, if you're following up, maybe you have a VA that checks on your shipments at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, maybe Monday and Thursday, your VA is checking. And if he or she is noticing that something's going to take a long time to be delivered, they just need to send a note to the customer that says, hey, we just wanted you to know your shipment is still en route. We know that it's on its way. We thank you for your patience. As soon as we receive another update from USPS, we'll let you know, that kind of thing. So you're just sending them a quick message. The platforms that you can send those quick messages on, definitely you can do it on eBay. You can send those messages on, Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy. So you can send those messages. There are some capability of messaging with your customer on Amazon, but again, it's limited. So hopefully Amazon is going to loosen up. And then never ship anything to an alternate address. I always recommend that because sometimes after shipping something, your customer's going to send a message that says, oh, I wanted you to ship it here. Well, there's a lot of fraud going on. People are making claims and getting stuff shipped somewhere else, and then they can say that they never received it. So I always say that if a customer is hitting me up and they're adamant about changing the shipping address, regardless of the platform, regardless of how nice they sound in the email, shady people can write some really polite and poetic emails. I just tell them to cancel the order, or I'll tell them I'll cancel the order, and then you can reorder it with the correct address, because I'm not going to send it to another address. Whatever address came in with the order is where it's going. Okay. Now they may have special instructions on, put it in a brown, it's a gift. So, don't put anything specific on it. That's fine. But I'm shipping it to wherever you tell me I'm supposed to ship it. That's it. I'm not shipping it outside of that. And make sure you're only communicating with the customer on the platform. So yeah, never communicate with the customer outside of the platform. Keep track of notifications and emails, especially if there is a customer that feels like long-term. They might actually submit a claim against you or against your product or whatever the case may be. You need to have that trail. So don't delete those emails from that platform. Make sure that you keep them. And if those emails, if they're routed to your own email account, like if you set up a Gmail account, make sure you keep all those. At some point, you may have to go back and fight to make sure you keep your money, that you don't have to issue a refund, or fight to get your money back from the platform, depending on what the platform is, whether it's Walmart or Amazon or whatever. So keep that communication. Have return items sent back to you for inspection. So this applies if you're having things sent to Amazon. If you're sending your inventory for Amazon FBA, you have the option of not having it sent back to you or not. Always have your inventory sent back to you, because I will tell you this funniest story in the world, and it's a true story. My brother used to do drop shipping on eBay, and he was supposed to ship a Roomba to Australia. And so he told the customer to ship the Roomba back and he would issue a refund. So it takes a while because it's overseas, and they shipped it back. And my brother let that box sit there for like 2 months, and he opened it up and it was a can of vegetables. So they kept the Roomba, sent the box back. He never opened it. He'd already issued the refund. So just a heads up, make sure that you get back what you sent, all the pieces. And even if there's one thing that's wrong in that bundle, because again, you're making bundles. If there is one thing wrong with the bundle, send the entire bundle back. And I will send you an entire replacement bundle. All of it. I want all my pieces back, and I will send you a replacement. So don't ever just take one thing. Oh, just ship back the little whatever. No, send it all back, all of it. And when I get all of it, I will issue you a refund, or I will send you a brand new completed bundle. So learn what the return policies are for the platforms. Make sure you establish your own return policy as well, because you can simplify. There's return templates that you have for each platform. So you can set up your template, like for eBay, you can set up a return policy template. Etsy, you can set up policy templates. If they already have an established one, know what that is, and make sure you're paying attention on the calendar regarding that. So then that way that you are within the guidelines of that, and know whether or not it is the day that it is shipped, or the day if they're adding a buffer for when it is received. Always pay attention to that, because that matters. It really does matter. And then protect your selling accounts by contacting the buyer to find out the reason for the return. There may be something, if they need to return something and they just say, I want to refund, or just I want to return this, or I want to refund, just reach out to them, see if you can find out what's really going on, what's happening there. So on certain platforms, you have the opportunity to request feedback. You have that opportunity, do request that feedback. Just be nice about it. As you can include that in your thing that you send them. So like in eBay, most of the time you can say a thank you card, and with maybe a URL to direct them to come back and buy stuff from you. And then you can say, and we appreciate your feedback. We like 5 stars. So if you feel like the service was great, please feel free to go complete the survey. And on the backside, I've seen people on the backside say, if there's any problems with this product whatsoever, please contact me directly immediately. And they might include a phone number or something, or a website or an email address, so that they can head off potential pending returns before a return has to happen. And if it has to happen, make sure you do it within the platform, or instruct the customer, direct them where to do it within the platform, so that the platform is aware of it, so no shady stuff happens after the fact. There's nothing like having the customer contact you, requesting a refund, and then you issue the refund outside of the platform, and then they file a claim on the platform. You'd be like, look, I already gave him the money. Then you got to deal with the whole, but I already gave him the money. So don't do that. And so there's certain platforms where you can, if the customer is giving you negative feedback, you can contact the customer directly. If they've given you negative feedback, there's ways in which each platform might allow you to contact them, or the platform may investigate it further to see if the negative feedback can be removed. So keep that in mind when it comes to platforms. And then there are different tools like Feedback 5. I never remember what the name of it is, that different people use. They can automate that feedback process. You can hire a VA to get that feedback process going. So I hope this information is helpful when it comes to customer service. If you have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat. I would love to hear your questions, and let's see what we can do to answer them and address them. Okay. So was that information helpful? Was there anything in the customer service section that I completely forgot to cover? I tried to cover as much as possible, talking as fast as possible. I'm sorry. So if I missed something, please let me know. Please let me know. Okay, so now we're going to go into branding. So as always, with every single one of our sessions, we make no guarantees, no promises. Your results are based on your effort, your decisions, your work. So if you're not doing the work, you're not going to get any results. If you're not putting in the effort, you're not going to get any results. So I always use the example of, I can buy some exercise tapes and I can watch them. But if I'm not doing the exercises, I'm not going to lose any weight sitting on the couch eating potato chips while watching exercise videos. So you have to actually do the work. So if you're having challenges with doing the work, go back to session 1 or session 2, build a real work session schedule. Session 1, build a real work schedule so you can try and build some habits. And it may take you a while to build the habits. And then once you build the habits, then you can come back and start executing everything else you learned in the training. So, all right, so why do you need a brand? We actually talked about this in session 2. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, your brand is an asset. And your brand can be a generic brand. You can have multiple brands if you want to. It can be a generic brand, or it can be an intentional brand that you plan on at some point selling. I always think about the end, keep the end in mind in any decisions that you make. Having someone approach you to buy this amazing, whatever it happens to be, maybe they don't buy it for 10 years, or maybe they buy it, very quickly. It's great. If you're going to create a specific brand that's just for your testing of your products, these are the things you do for retail arbitrage. You can have a generic naming convention for your brand, whatever it happens to be. So like my son is opening up a store called TJ Frequency. So maybe I would have something set up for TN, because my kids' names are Tony and Nicholas. So TN Treasures. So I might create a bundle, create a brand that's called TN Treasures that I'm just using for right now to try and get my bundle strategy going. And maybe I'm going to rename it to something different later on, or the branding that I want to do, because I have my children are on the spectrum. I have Voyage into Autism. And so maybe it is, Autism Voyage or whatever it happens to be. And maybe that's long term my name of my brand. But anything that I'm testing, anything I'm trying to get traction on, anything I'm trying to find out whether or not there's an interest or a demand, I might start off with TJ Treasures. So TJ Treasures might be selling dog stuff. They might be selling autism stuff. They might be just selling kitchenwares. They might be selling stuff for automotive. But long-term, bigger picture, my autism journey may be the brand that I am using to sell all of my autism related stuff. Okay. So think long-term, what do you want to do? I'm going to test some stuff and I'm going to create a long-term strategy. You can keep them the same and I can have my autism journey, but I don't want to mix up. If I'm talking about autism, I'm not going to sell automotive stuff under my autism brand. I'm not, unless it's applicable, because I've had to do the whole seatbelt situation with my son. So that is technically automotive related, but it is also autism related. So unless it makes sense, then I would not sell, I don't know, an oil filter. I wouldn't sell that under my autism journey. I would actually sell it under TJ Treasures. So that's a generic name that's generic enough that I can sell anything I want to under that brand. Whatever I want to sell, I can sell it under TN Treasures. But the autism one is specific. It's got the keyword for autism in the name of the brand. And that's so important so that people can find it. You'll come up so much faster in the search engine if whatever the keyword is that people are using to serve or to search or to solve a problem is in the name of the brand. So keep that in mind. We talked about, creating your brand name, getting a URL, getting your logo, figuring out your colors. What are you guys going to stand for? What is your purpose? Who do you serve? Who do you want to support and serve long-term? What is your strategy? All of those things that comes into creating that brand. So again, you can have two separate brands that serve two different purposes and test some strategies under your generic brand. And then your one that you plan on blowing up, scaling, making a bunch of money under, and potentially selling at some later point, have that brand serve its purpose. Okay. So the next thing is when you figure out what your brand is going to be, and you want to go back through session 2, because I've gone through branding in great detail. And you need to be able to answer all the questions that happen to be here. Be thinking about all the things that are here regarding your brand. So your brand, and then who do you serve? We break down who do you serve in your niche journey. What is your niche journey? So you may start off with the niche before you get to the brand. If you're going to stay generic, then you may not have a specific detailed niche that you focus on 100%. You may have multiple niches that you focus on based off of what's selling from a trend standpoint, what's selling from a popular standpoint, or holiday or seasonal. And that's fine as well. I do what I consider seasonal, holiday, popular, trendy bundles all the time. And then I have niche down specific focused because I am part of that niche. My journey of autism is part of that niche, or the fact that I have gray hair is part of that niche. Those are specific things that I focus on. So I go down two different paths on my bundles journey. Figure out what your strategy is going to be. You can do both, or you can just focus on one specific thing and stay in that lane. But create your brand. It may be 2 brands, it may be 1. Then you want to get your trademark. Your trademark is going to be helpful. So my autism journey, that is definitely something that, I want to make sure it's trademarked. I don't want anybody, I want to make sure that using it. I want to go get all the real estate that we talked about before when it comes to the social media assets. I want to get all of that done. And, or Voyage, it's not journey, sorry, Voyage. And then I want to go check the trademark offices. I can tell you to get a trademark, it's going to cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. That does not include potentially the copyright. So make sure, again, when you're doing the trademark piece, it's going to cost you $1,000 to $1,500. For that, some people just stop and I'm done there. I'm not going to do anything else. So I'm just going to ask you a question about that. Because if your intention is to make money online, and you see people making money online all the time, how many sales do you have to get in order to make back your $1,000? How many sales do you have to get to make back your $1,500? If you've done your product research and you've done the work that needs to be done regarding your niche, how long is it going to take you to get back that money? So let's just do some quick math. So $1,000, I could sell 100 of my potential product with a $10 profit and make my $1,000. Have you already sold 100 products on, had 100 sales online as a seller? If you've already had 100 sales online, you've already done what you need to do to get your money back, 100% of your money back, okay? I could sell 100 items with a $15 profit. Again, the reality is, have you already sold 100 products online, the $15 profit? Or not even a 15, maybe you haven't sold that many with a 15, but the difference is with bundles, you have higher potential profit margins. So instead of getting that $5 profit or that $2 profit or that $10 profit that you're used to, you're literally going to be living in the realm of, oh, I can make a $30 profit or a $50 profit or a $75 profit or a $60 profit or a $40 profit for every single bundle that I sell. So if I'm getting a $40 profit for every single bundle that I sell, how long is it going to take me to get my $1,000 back? If I'm getting a $60 profit for every single bundle that I sell, how long is it going to take me to get my $1,500 back? So again, selling bundles, if this is going to be your long game, your long strategy, getting it trademarked is going to be helpful, long-term, bigger picture. And going through the trademark process is going to help you weed through all of the litany of BS on Amazon if you want to sell on Amazon. Because right now, Amazon is making it interesting for sellers, some sellers to sell. And they're making it interesting for people who already have GTIN exemptions to be able to sell list their products in the GTIN exemptions. They're going back and asking them for different things. So get the trademark so that you don't ever have to have this conversation again with Amazon, because now you're trademarked, you have a brand, your product is in the brand packaging, and now they're not going to ask you 5,000 questions. You'll answer the questions for them once, be done with it, maybe twice, and you're done with it. You've done everything you need to be an official, full-fledged brand. So don't think short term. Don't think that's a lot of money. Think long term. What is the long game that how am I going to win? So the reality is, if you sold during fourth quarter, how many of you, raise your hands, how many of you have sold any product during fourth quarter? If you sold any product whatsoever during fourth quarter, did you get one sale? Did you get 5 sales? If you were stocked up in stock and you were listing on a regular basis, did you get 2 sales? Did you get 200 sales? How many sales did you get during fourth quarter? So be honest about that. We already know the fourth quarter can be straight up bananas. And the fact that people are still buying online because people have enjoyed the convenience of ordering and receiving stuff on their doorstep. People still like to go to the stores, but they enjoy the convenience of ordering online too. So if you made any money, or if you had any sales whatsoever during fourth quarter, what would life look like if you could sell the same number of items in fourth quarter, but you could 4X or 5X or 10X the profit? 4X, 4 times, 5X, 5 times, 10X, 10 times the profit for each individual item. What does that look like for you? What do your numbers look like for Q4? because it is now, today happens to be June. So I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, but this is June. This is the best time to start preparing yourself for Q4, mastering your bundle strategy and figuring it out. So I am talking about this or harping on this because I don't want people to stop at, oh, she told me it's going to cost me $1,000 or $1,500 to do this. Okay, you have the wrong mindset going into this. You have to think about, what does it look like on the other side of that $1,000 or $1,500? What does it look like when I have gotten much better at my bundle strategy, when I spend the rest of June and July just fine tuning my bundles approach and my strategy in August, and I'm fine tuning it. And then I get into September and, oh my God, my sales are ridiculous. In October, my numbers and my profit margins are ridiculous. Do I have to have as many items to sell? No. I literally could maybe be making 10 grand per month off of over 50 SKUs or 10 SKUs or 25 SKUs, because these are products that sell with higher profit margins, and maybe they sell more frequently to a specific niche. So you have to think about the long game, long-term, bigger picture. So I can't stress that enough. So go look into trademark, figure out what your brand is going to be, go back and watch session 2, and then figure out what your brand is going to be, and then move forward. Now, if you're going to sell on Amazon, the great thing about having a trademark is now you can go and apply for brand registry. Brand registry gives you so many different benefits and so many different perks. With brand registry, you will have the opportunity to have your own product page, like product store, sorry. And that product store, you'll be able to have specialized graphics that you can't put on any other listing. You'll be able to put a video. So what if you had a marketing video on that page? People can search by your brand. When you do ads on Amazon ads and do Amazon campaigns, you literally will be able to have your ad show up at the top of the page because it's a brand. People who don't have brands can't show up. They can show up in different places, but you literally, they have designated real estate on the page. So that means you get priority above sponsored ads. Yours is going to be a sponsored ad, but you're a sponsored brand. So from a standpoint of the sponsored brand will be at the top of the page, and then right below the sponsored brand will be the sponsored ads in the search results. And then below that will be the regular listings. So that means that if you are the sponsored brand, you're at the top of the page. How often do people go through page 2, 3, 4, and 5 to buy stuff? Do they normally buy things on page 1, or do they buy things on page 15? Like, people typically buy things on page 1. So the brand registry is going to be so important to you getting the organic sales and organic traffic that you'd like to get. And you can also use it in ads, meaning brand registry will allow your products to show up as sponsored brand ads at the top. And then sponsored ads will go below that. So you can sign up for brand registry. You can go to www.brandservices.amazon.com/brand registry to get started. So you want to go through and review what the requirements are. And then once you review what the requirements are, you'll sign up for brand registry and you'll get enrolled. But before you do brand registry, before you start the brand registry, you need to go down the trademark route. So trademarking, I'm going to highly recommend, because we did this, that you go through Amazon's IP accelerator process. So the sequence of events would be: step 1, contact Amazon IP accelerator. They're going to give you a list of attorneys to choose from, and you'll choose an attorney to help you start the trademark process. You choose an attorney to help you start the trademark process. Then step 2, you work with that attorney on all the trademark stuff that we've already talked about. That attorney has a partnership and a relationship with Amazon. So you work with that attorney to do all of the trademark stuff that we already talked about. Step 3 is they will contact you with your trademark. After you pay them and they submit it, they will contact you with your trademark. I forget what the thing is called, like your trademark application number. It's not called application, it's called something else. But they'll give you your trademark number, that's your application number with the trademark office, whatever that thing is called. And I don't know why I can't think of it right now, so I apologize. Then after they give you that, you'll be able to go over to brand registry, give them that information, and immediately start selling products on Amazon immediately through brand registry because you started with the Amazon IP Accelerator process. So step one, go through Amazon IP Accelerator. Okay, after you figured out your brand situation, do that. Step two, use their attorneys in brand IP Accelerator to start the trademark process. Step three, after you get done with those attorneys, you'll get some email notifications, and then you're going to go over to brand registry and give them that information so that step four, you can immediately start selling your bundles under that brand name. Okay, that is the 4-step process. We'll make sure that that is outlined in the workbook, but you got to start with IP Accelerator if we're talking about Amazon. If we're not, and here's the deal, that brand stuff is also going to work on other platforms because you already will have applied. So that may make the conversation on Walmart. If you want to have a more involved conversation with Walmart, you're already branded. What if your bundles become a hit on on Amazon, and then they become a hit on Walmart? What does that look like if you were to get your bundles inside of a store? Come on. Like, I want y'all to look for my autism journey in the future because my stuff might be in the store because there's more and more kids being diagnosed with autism. So again, think about what that looks like and what that might do for your business by having that trademark. It will help you grow exponentially. So on Amazon specifically, you have to think about the GTI and exemption. I know that Walmart is working through some GTI and exemption stuff too. So the GTI and exemption excludes you from having to have a UPC code. That is the short version of it. There's more than that that's involved. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a paragraph here. But the short version is that you don't need a UPC to create your listing. Long-term, bigger picture, if you're creating some amazing products, you do ultimately want to have a UPC, especially if you're going to try and get into Walmart. Like, think about it, or Target. Then having a UPC will help you to be able to do that. Okay. So, but a GTI exemption allows you to be able to create your bundle listings without having a UPC. And then long-term, bigger picture, you'll eventually want to get some UPCs. You can buy them directly. We've gone through that in session, I don't know, maybe session 2. If we didn't go through it in session 2, I'll definitely make sure that we have some links to, I think it's GS1, that you can buy them directly from GS1. If you want to buy some UPCs, you can buy them directly from GS1. If you are sampling for bundled purposes and you just want to sample creating some bundles out there in the universe, but not necessarily put a UPC on Amazon, definitely do the GTI exemption is going to work with brand registry. There's a lot of people right now that have been selling products. They have a GTI exemption, and now they're finding that Amazon's coming back to them and they're wanting branding information, and they're forcing them to go through brand registry. And so they're sort of pissed off because they've been selling for a while under the GTI exemption. So they're changing the rules. Heads up, I'm telling you now. So you're not surprised at some later point. So definitely go through brand registry. And the best way to go through brand registry is to start the IP Accelerator, do the trademark, come back to brand registry after they give you your number, and then you can apply for your GTI exemption, and then you'll be able to sell whatever you want to. And remember, the GTI exemption for Amazon is tied to the category where they approve you. The category where they approve you. So keep that in mind. That doesn't mean that you can't get approved in multiple categories, because you can. Just keep that in mind as your starting point. And so this just continues the whole GTI exemption, how to request it and all that other stuff. And again, the brands are going to be, having brand registry is going to help expedite that process, and it's going to help prevent your listings from being taken down by Amazon, or Amazon asking you 9,000 things because you already have brand registry. Okay. So if you're going to sell on Amazon, I know that I'm focusing right now on Amazon, and here's the reason why. Amazon is like still king. That doesn't mean you can't make money on other platforms, because you can, but Amazon is still king. So because Amazon is still king, it is so important that you make sure that you, are following Amazon's guidelines if you want to be able to sell on their platform. So I've literally given you the roadmap on how to sell bundles easily on Amazon. After you go through the first 5 steps that we talked through, you'll be able to put together your bundle ideas, test your bundle ideas, list them on Amazon, and have people look at them. And then eventually, if you want to sell on other platforms, that's always a good thing as well. Or if you're already selling on other platforms, you just want to ignore this whole part, that's fine as well. But Amazon does have a bundling policy. Make sure that your products abide by their bundling policy so that you don't get yourself in trouble. We'll make sure that we have the URL to their bundling policy available in the workbook, and I'll put them in the chat here in a little bit so that you don't have any problems. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and grab those real quick because I don't want you to have any issues. Grab this one. And oops. Don't ask me why I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what screen I'm on. Am I still live? I'm still live, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I am. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm trying to get to the chat. So let me put this in the chat. That's one for the Amazon bundling policy. Just a second. Let me go back to the other one. Let's go to get the GTIN exemptions. Should have just put them all on one little sheet of paper. Would have been easier. So next time I'll do that. Lesson learned. Then this is the IP accelerator. If you haven't found it, sorry, I'm trying to click, but my mouse is not cooperating. I have a possessed mouse. I really do. Me and my mouse are going through a divorce all the time. Okay. And that's the IP accelerator. And the brand registry. Okay, so I gave you those 4 links. And then the previous links, you have them from the previous sessions. They'll also be in your workbook. So definitely go look at the IP accelerator, get started, brand registry, GTI exemption, and branding policy. So check those out. Use that to help you in your business. Let's go back to where we were. Okay, so the next thing is diversifying. One of my favorite things, listing on other platforms. So I'm going to tell you there's a couple of tools. Write them down. I'm sorry I don't have a link. I will make sure that I email you our links. But eCom Dash will allow you to be able to list your products on multiple platforms and list perfectly. We do have a promotion for List Perfectly where you can get, I think it's a certain percentage off of your first month. And then we also have the same thing with eCom Dash. So I'll make sure that we get those links before this class is over, and I'll share that with you. But in any case, why should you sell on different platforms? Like some people are like, I don't want to sell on different platforms because it's too hard to keep track of all that stuff. I get it. I understand. And I don't want to sell on different platforms because it's too hard to remember what tool we're using to list and all that other stuff. I get it. So long-term, bigger picture, session 8, we're going to be talking about VAs to help you do some of this stuff. Because again, we try to make big money. We're not trying to make small money. We're making big money. So you want to automate as much of your stuff as possible. So you can have a VA use listing tools that will allow you to cross-list on other platforms, and they won't have direct access to your actual accounts. They can use your listing tools to be able to list instead of logging into your accounts, thereby saving you some time and, long-term saving you some money. So why would you diversify and sell on other platforms? Of course, because on some platforms you can sell the same product for a higher price. Some of y'all don't know that. Like people are used to, in some cases, paying a little bit more on Poshmark for the same thing they can get it on Amazon. Okay, keep that in mind. Some other platforms, people are used to paying a little bit more on Etsy sometimes for products, depending on what the product is, that they maybe get for a cheaper price on Amazon or on Walmart or on eBay. Like some products sell higher. So diversification is good. You want to do that research as part of your research in session 2. So go back and do that. It helps you to get more traffic to your listings. People cannot buy what they cannot find. I need to get a shirt made that says that. People cannot buy what they cannot find. So where are the people? The people are everywhere. They're on all kinds of platforms. They're doing all kinds of stuff. People are not just, they're hanging out on Amazon, then they get mad at Amazon, they might go somewhere else. They're also going to search in Google what automatically, organically comes out or comes up for your main product in the Google search. What is that? So whatever that thing that comes up with, you probably want to make sure, again, that you're listing on those platforms. So if your main product is, I don't know, got to think of something, water bottle. So when you search water bottle, and the first thing that comes up is a listing on Walmart, then a listing on Amazon, and a listing on Target, then where do you need to be listing? Where do you need to be selling? Some of y'all don't know that you can list products on Target's platform as a third-party seller. You can list products on a lot of different platforms as a third-party seller. So take the opportunity to do that. It'll help you get more sales. You'll have more backlinks to your listings. So also, I just found out, like, they're going to be products that are going to be able to be sold on Hulu and Netflix. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but that's next. Like, all of the platforms are taking the opportunity to have an e-commerce embedded process into their platforms. So people are going to be able to probably do the home shopping network kind of buying off of Netflix at some time in the future. This is going to get real interesting. So your ability to have your products be found is only limited to you limiting yourself. A lot of these platforms will let you create multiple accounts, or they will not just let you have multiple accounts, but having your items listed on multiple platforms is going to help you get more exposure. So you want to have more backlinks, maybe to your original or your source, and listing on other platforms is going to help you do that. So you want more visibility to help your items rank faster in Google. It'll help you if you're selling to a specific group or niche. So getting connected to some of those groups, especially Facebook. Like if you're selling your products on Facebook, if they already have a group. So let me just say this. If I have autism products and they are my current keywords that are in the listing and the title and the description are autism, Facebook automatically is going to make sure that my products show up for those Facebook groups, those people that are in those Facebook groups, automatically, organically. How many more sales am I going to get? Because what does Facebook already have? Groups. They've already identified the groups and the niches. People join those groups organically. So if they join those groups organically and I decide to do some Facebook ads, where do you think my ads are going to show up? Automatically, organically. How many more sales am I potentially going to get? So again, keep those kind of things in mind. All right. And if you have a goal, it'll help you reach your financial goal much faster. So some of the platforms you can diversify and sell on, this is not all of them. This is just a handful of them. But again, don't overlook the opportunity to cross-list your items on different platforms. There's different cross-listing tools to help you do that. You can get discounts through us for eCom Dash and for List Perfectly to be able to list your products. So I'll make sure I get you those links before we roll out of here. And then again, it's not just about Amazon. Even though we say Amazon is king, we know that. Amazon's making it hard for third-party sellers. In some cases, if you continue to work through Amazon's process, then it will become easy for you again if you're having problems right now. So don't overlook the opportunity to sell on Amazon, especially if you go through the IP Accelerator program. And then from there, you've got, eBay, Etsy, Walmart, Shopify, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, Google Shopping, Bonanza. People are overlooking Bonanza, Pinterest, WooCommerce, BigCommerce. Some of the print-on-demand platforms will allow you to list your products. So you may have to do virtual bundles, of course, with them. But again, it's still an opportunity. And you can do virtual bundles on Amazon. That's another thing that you'll be able to do. So again, it's just another opportunity for you to get more links to your products, to sell more products, and to be able to get more traction and find your audience. Find your audience everywhere. So social signals are the next thing that we're going to talk about. And why would you even look at social signals? Why do they matter? Well, social signals, again, I talked about backlinks before. Backlinks is a link to drive people back to your original listing. So if I am cross-listing, if I'm cross-listing from Amazon to eBay, my original listing that maybe I started with was the Amazon listing, and then I cross-listed over to eBay or Etsy or Shopify or wherever I'm cross-listing it on, whatever the integrations are that already exist, that's going to drive more traffic to your listing. And then your listings can also be seen in other places, sometimes organically. They just show up organically. That means you didn't pay for an ad for them. Now, paying for an ad, will that help you? Absolutely. But having your items show up naturally in the search results is happening in most cases where if it happens organically, it's because that particular product was ranked well. Somebody did some really great SEO. They used some really great keywords, search words, intent use search words. They did all of their work in the listing, the title. They filled in all the back end keywords that people are searching, search intent, use intent, all of those words. And they are making sure that they're sending the product out into the universe to get more links back to the original listing. So there's a couple of different things. One, what you need to do, says you can create a page with multiple social media platforms for your store. So I always recommend, like if you're creating your brand, make sure that you have like a Facebook page. Even when I talked about TN Treasures, like I would have a Facebook fan page for that. I would have social media, all of that stuff. So I have the opportunity to send my listings out to from Amazon. I can share it onto my Facebook fan page. I can share it over to my Twitter page. I can share it over to my Pinterest page. If it makes sense to have a LinkedIn page, I can share it over there. If I decide to set up a Twitter account, I can share it over there. Share the link everywhere out into the universe. If I have a YouTube video showing people using the product, or me demonstrating the product, or my kids demonstrating the product, or just an unboxing of the product, again, if you do YouTube videos, make sure you have backlinks to that. So having that, and then also having a hashtag for your specific product, a hashtag making, and also Instagram. Sorry, I didn't mean to forget Instagram, including Instagram. Having hashtags that you always use everywhere for your product, tags and hashtags, is going to be helpful. So I would use, in the example I gave you before, I would make sure that autism is always hashtagged, no matter where I list it, or it's tagged, wherever I list it or share it to, it's always there. So it's sharing that link out to other sites from the original source. So it's also going to help you get more organic traffic. Now, I will tell you, social signals is one of the biggest strategies we use during Q4 because people are doing paid ads like bananas. They're crazy about the paid ads. And so the way we get traffic to our listings is we work on the keywords that are in the listing, in the title and in the listing. We look at the keywords that are in the search terms, the search words, the most search words for this particular solution that people are looking for, or a problem or a thing, and the intent use search words. So make sure you don't miss those three. If you do that, you'll get a lot of results automatically, organically. And so we use social signals then, and then we also use Pingler and Ping Farm. So Pingler and Ping Farm, you can go to www.pingfarm.com and www.pingler.com. And what it's going to do, you will put your actual URL into the box and hit mass ping. And that's going to send your product out to the universe so that it can be found through the search engines automatically. And that will automatically help you get traffic to your listings. So we do that every single day, especially Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We'll start on the Friday before Black Friday, and we'll literally ping all of our listings. 2 days later, ping all of our listings. 2 days later, ping all of our listings, and keep pinging them all the way up to Black Friday and then past Cyber Monday. So we get a boatload of sales organically, whereas people are paying for paid ads, we get them naturally, just telling you. So that's another strategy you can use by making sure you do the social signals, sending your listings out to different social media platforms, and then running your listings, the actual distinct URL. Never, ever, ever, if you're selling on Amazon, don't just grab the Amazon URL, because if there's multiple people on that listing, hopefully there's not. If you're creating your own bundles, you should be the only one on the listing. But if you create a bundle that people can find the other sources, then other people might piggyback off of your listing. And then you're driving traffic to the group listing and not the distinct your listing. You need to drive traffic to your specific distinct listing. That's the goal. So copy them into Pingler and Ping Farm, drive traffic back to you organically and naturally to get people to find your stuff. And then the other thing that we do is we open up the listing multiple times. And I don't know why that's not here, but normally the other strategy that we do is that we'll also, there we go, pull up the listing multiple times down here at the bottom. Sorry, I didn't see it. So pulling up the listing multiple times is going to help you a great deal. Around the holidays, what I would do is I reach out to my brother who's in Kansas, reach out to other friends around the US and have them pull up your listing in its own URL. And I do it not incognito. I pull it up in Google, especially after I create a new listing. So step one, I create a new listing. Step two, I go to a different laptop. That's what I do. And I pull up the listing and from a completely different laptop, from a different IP address. So I'll have the laptop connected to a completely different IP address and I'll pull it up because it's a brand new listing. I will send that URL out to 5 or 10 friends and say, can you pull up this listing? Wherever they are in the United States. Why do I do that? I do that because that will tell the platform, hey, there's an interest in this particular product. This listing was just created and now there's a bunch of interest. And so that will cause other people to pull up my listing. And then once they pull up my listing, then my listing will help rank faster in the search engines for the keywords that I use to create the listing and the search words that are on the listing. That's going to get you traffic organically. So I'm not saying that paid ads don't work, because paid ads are helpful, but there are ways in which you can drive traffic to your existing listings without using paid ads. You're not going to get as many, but initially you might, because if you have a circle of like, I don't know, 50 friends and you do that all the time, every single time you create a listing, you're definitely going to show up first. And what's going to happen is from Amazon standpoint, if a lot of people are pulling up that listing, then Amazon's going to make sure that whatever the search words that people are using to find your specific product or find products similar to yours, that your listing is somewhere in that pool that come up on page one. They're going to be in that pool that come up on page one because of the fact that you're using your strategy of not only sending backlinks through your social media pages, you're not only using Pingler and Ping Farmer, you're pinging it all the time. And you're also having multiple people around the United States in different spots from different IP addresses and different computers pull up the item. So it's like, oh my God, there's a massive interest in this product. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this item gets a little more presence. Same thing happens on eBay. Same thing happens on Walmart. So that's a strategy. Start pulling together your group of friends that are across the United States and say, hey, once a week, I'm going to send you a list of links. Maybe you send them 5 listings. If you create 5 listings a week, or maybe it's 1 new bundle listing a week, whatever it happens to be, but test it out and have your friends all pull it up after you create the listing. Make sure you run it through Pingler and Ping Farm. Make sure the listing is right, that you don't have to correct it. You're not going to get the results that you want if you have to correct the listing in any kind of way. If you didn't name the image files, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So make sure you've done everything that you can to optimize this listing so that way people can really find it automatically on their own. Okay? So send the listing out to your friends, find 10 or 20 friends across the United States, have them pull it up for you. And then that maybe even create a little small Facebook group and say, okay, hey guys, we're going to help each other. And so we're going to pull up each other's listings so that way there are people that actually write algorithms and they write computer programs to do this. And indirectly, it's some would perceive it as gaming the system. But again, you're pulling up the listings so that it ranks faster in the Google search engines and also in the platform search engines. So then that way you have the opportunity to get more traffic organically initially until somebody else comes through with a paid ad and overtakes that spot. So sometimes you can be the first one out the gate with that strategy. So I'm just letting you know We'll make sure that we put the video that's available. We'll put that in the workbook. So let me grab this real quick. I'm gonna put this in the chat. It's Pingler and Ping Farm. They are pretty straightforward to use. Hold on. I forget, when I hide the box, there it goes. And I don't know, Renata may have already put it in here. Did you already put it in here? Pingler and Ping Farm? Oh, okay, all right, here we go. Okay. So how many of you guys knew about that strategy that I just talked about? How many of you actually already knew about the strategy, which is a strategy to help you get organic traffic to your listings? Go ahead and type in the chat if you already knew about the strategy. I'm curious because I don't know that a lot of people know that. I will tell you, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world who's no longer with us, Norman Ellsworth. I heard the strategy before, but Norman and I, like we brought that strategy home like all the time in our trainings when we did other mastery training sessions. And so Norman's my guy. I miss him. And he was like, let me just show you what I did because I ran it through Pingler. I was like, okay, game on. That's my new strategy now, Norman. So I thank him for the sales that I got because of the strategy, because Norman was the dude. So Norman passed away. All right, so promotions, ads, campaigns, and marketing. So let's say if you don't have a lot of money for all of that, then getting your group of 20 friends or 50 friends or whatever, every single time you create a new bundle listing and you make sure the bundle listing is perfect before you do this is going to help you. So make sure when you're sharing, let me just show you this too. Sorry, I do need to show you this. Let me exit out of this real quick. The other thing is on the different platforms, when you go to the platforms, hopefully, if you're the only person on the listing, and I don't know, I'm just going to do water bottle. I'm just going to show this real quick. Yes, I can type. It's just me and my mouse. Me and my mouse are not friends. So these are the sponsored ads when I was talking about that. And then these are the brand. See, brand ads get precedence over sponsored ads. These are sponsored ads. So people paid to get the sponsored ads placed, but Brita is a brand. So they have a brand ad. So just imagine when you create your amazing logo for your brand, you're going to be able to go above the sponsored ads. And this is that real estate that you get that nobody else gets. So you show up first. You show up first. So then after you go below the sponsored ads and you get to the regular stuff. So this is one of the best sellers right now. This is the #2 bestseller. This is the #3, #4, everything past the sponsored ads for that navigation. For that category, subcategory navigation. This is #1. So when you are creating your listing, you created your listing, most of the time you'll see some social signal shares. You see these social signal shares? So if you're the only person on the listing, you can share it through email, you can share it to Facebook, you can share it to Twitter, you can share it to Pinterest. This is going to share it from the original URL, okay? So from the original URL, that's where the share is happening, okay? That's going to help you get the backlink that I was talking about before. So it sends a link from this guy to those other places. So Pingler and Ping Farm indirectly is doing the same thing. It's sending a link from the original source. So you're going to copy, this is the URL you're copying, or you want to make sure it's your distinct URL. Because if there's multiple people on the listing, multiple sellers, then you don't want to share that. You only want to share your distinct URL. So from right here, get rid of all this. I'm deleting all that, okay? So the URL that I care about is this. That's the URL that I care about all the way up to the end of the ASIN. That's the one I'm sharing. And if I'm going to share using the backlinks, I can share from here and it will share it out to Facebook. It'll give that URL to Twitter, to Pinterest. The same thing, you'll see these share buttons over here on eBay. You'll see them on, I think they're everywhere. I mean, they're pretty close to everywhere. They may not be 100% everywhere, but they're pretty close to everywhere. Those are the links that I'm talking about when I say share them out to social media, and then make sure you share. And this, when I say share it out to social media, you don't have to put it on your Facebook fan page. You put it, your Facebook page, your personal. You put it on your Facebook fan page that you created. So if I'm doing a generic testing of a specific product and I'm just using tea and treasures for anything and everything, doesn't matter what I sell. I can sell dog bowls, and then I could sell hooks to hang pictures on the wall. TJ Treasures is generic enough that I can sell anything. Then I'm going to share it over to the fan page for TJ Treasures, not to Nicole Whitlock's personal page. If I am going my autism journey, then again, I'm going to share it to the fan page for my autism journey. I'm going to share it to the Pinterest page for my autism journey, all of that. So when I go into a specific listing on eBay, they're normally at the top. See up here, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Again, for this link, for this particular product, you can share it out to those pages. Okay, so it'll ask you to log in, blah, blah, blah. That's how you share it and get you a backlink to this. You'll get a backlink to this actual listing. Okay, so that's how that works. Any questions about that? Just so I can make sure everybody understands what backlinks are and how they work. Does that make sense? Can you tell me if that makes sense in the chat? Does that make sense to you? Is that confusing? I still don't get it. Because that's important once you create your listings. It'll be helpful that you do this every single time you create new listings so you can get some organic results. All right, so the next thing is promotion and marketing. So you want to research and learn what marketing or promotion options are available for each platform and use their tools. So, you know, Facebook has campaign and ads, and then eBay, you can do some promotional stuff. Etsy allows you promotional stuff, even Mercari and Poshmark. Like you can, in a Facebook Marketplace, you know, you can promote your products. So there's different types of promotional, they may say, I'm going to bump this listing or something like that. Even other mobile apps, it will allow you, again, the opportunity to promote and or bump your product to the top as often. So learn those platforms, marketing or promotion tools, learn it, figure out what's available, learn it, and then use it to your benefit. I'm not saying you have to pay for ads all the time. If you use some of the organic strategies, you shouldn't have to pay for ads all the time, but definitely use that to your advantage so you can get some more traffic on your listing, especially if the product is something that's going to sell a specific time of the year. I'm going to go back to autism. So April is Autism Awareness Month. So I literally would start running ads for that the last 2 weeks in March if I wanted to, or I could do a bunch of implement a bunch of strategies so that the products are organically show up. I might start running things through Pingler and Ping Farm every other day. I would definitely start listing my products probably at the beginning of March or the end of February. And then I would start cross-sharing it from the original source over to Pinterest, Instagram, whatever. I'd have an autism page. I would do all of these things to get the organic traffic that I need to get to my listing, okay? And so I would start that early because during Autism Awareness Month, people are Googling things that are related to autism because April is Autism Awareness Month. So I want to make sure my products are front and center organically, and I might pay, in addition to getting the front and center automatic access, I might pay to have some ads placed, okay? So Grandparents Month, you know, Grandparents Month, I don't remember Grandparents Day or whatever day that is. I know it's a day. I don't know which day it is. But at the beginning of our journey for this bundles course, when I talked about niches, gray hair is sometimes synonymous with grandparents. So I joke about the fact that I own the domain. I'm not the grandma. I do actually own the domain, not the grandma, because I have gray hair, but people think I'm the grandma when I'm with my kids, especially when they were little and I had gray hair. So again, I might, because I want to sell bundle related products to people that are trying to buy stuff for grandparents, I might put my products out there several days or a few weeks before Grandparents Day or Grandparents Week and make sure those bundles are visible organically. When people type in grandparents, I want my stuff to come up. Great gifts for grandparents. Well, that's a search term. People are searching for great gifts for grandparents or gifts for grandparents. And so if they're looking for gifts for grandparents, I'm going to make sure that's in my search term. I'm going to make sure that that's somewhere, one of my bullets in my description, so that that way my product shows up, even if it's focused 100% on gray hair. And so that way, on those days in which people are, looking for things, or when people are trying to make sure that grandparents are perceived something, they're buying the stuff in advance before Grandparents' Day hits. Start my journey maybe 8 weeks out to figure out what bundles I wanted to put together for Grandparents' Day. Then 6 weeks out, make sure I got my pictures and start creating my listings. Then 4 weeks out, making sure my listings are on multiple platforms and they're available. I might start doing the Pingler and Ping Farm. I make sure it's on my fan pages, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, so that way, as you get closer to Grandparents' Day, first of all, I show up potentially organically first because of the fact that I came out the gate first early, a month before Grandparents' Day. And then 3 weeks before Grandparents' Day, I'm going to go through Pingler and Ping Farm again. 2 weeks before Grandparents' Day, I'm going to go through Pingler and Ping Farm again. I'm also going to potentially hit up family and friends and say, hey, I need y'all to pull up these listings for me again to start having them show up organically in the search. I start getting sales. So, 4 weeks before, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, I have a strategy so that I can get a boatload of sales before Grandparents' Day. All right, so you need to master the keyword research. What are the search terms? What are the use terms? What are they using this product for, this item for? Whatever it is, you need to learn that. You need to master those search terms. You need to incorporate it into your listing descriptions, your back-end keywords, your back-end search words, your back-end fields, and also in the description. You want to use Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram, Bing ads. All of those. People overlook Bing. I don't use Bing, but somehow Bing stuff shows up. Why? Because my Internet Explorer is gone, so people are using Microsoft Edge, and because they're using Edge, it automatically comes up. Okay, so it's a default. Learn how to use organic marketing strategies. We just talked about a bunch of them, which is Pingler and Ping Farm, using your family and friends to pull up listings from different IP addresses and different computers. Very important, different IP addresses, different computers. And then you need to consider using some other platforms to get some traction on your listing. If you don't have a Reddit account, get a Reddit account and figure out where you can talk about something related to your product and include your URL. Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, email marketing, Pinterest, whatever it happens to be, push notifications. People are doing a lot of SMS texting. So SMS texting could be another helpful way to help you get traffic and traction to your listings organically. Okay. Then email marketing, if you happen to create maybe a Shopify store, WooCommerce store, other types of stores where you have the opportunity to email your customers directly, start an email marketing campaign. If you have a store and you can capture their email addresses, capture it and send them a newsletter. Maybe send them a weekly newsletter to tell them what's happening in your store. What are the new products that you're offering, especially if it's to your niche. Your niche wants to hear from you. So let me just ask you a question. So how many of you have heard of AARP? So how often does AARP engage their audience? How often do they email them? How often do you see ads? How often are they sending out their magazine? How often? Okay. So that is, again, they're intentional. They're being intentional about communicating and interacting with their customers. They're also offering them promotions. They give them great information, but they're offering them promotions. So again, if you are serving a specific audience, make sure you maybe have a newsletter and the latest and greatest information or either promotions or new products that you're offering to that specific audience. So, how many of you read the Bible? Maybe one of the things that you're going to offer is maybe a Bible planner, organizer planner, whatever it happens to be. So sending them a weekly email of maybe prayers for the week or scriptures you would read for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And oh, by the way, we want you to know that our planner is now 25% off. Here's your referral link if you want to refer a friend. Email marketing can become one of your greatest tools, one of your greatest assets. So make sure that you use email marketing when you have the opportunity. Email marketing may not apply to everyone, depending on which platform you're selling on. But if you're on a platform where you have the opportunity to email, you can capture email addresses and communicate with your customers directly without violating the platform that you're selling on their terms of service. Do that. Do it. Hire a VA. We're going to talk about VAs in session 8. Hire a VA to help you with that because it's going to help you get more sales. It's going to help you build a loyal audience. And when you have a loyal audience, you can sell to them over and over and over again. Okay? So do what you can to help that. The next thing is we talk about Facebook ads and Instagram ads and then Google. So identify your target audience. Again, your audience, the great thing about Facebook ads and Google ads, and we do have inside of eCom Sellers Academy, we have a Facebook ads and Instagram ads training that we did where we show people how to create ads and we show them how they set up. But in any case, so if you're not a member, you can join the Academy. But it helps you identify your target audience, which is extremely important. And then I've already talked about creating your Facebook fan page. So make sure you have a Facebook fan page for your generic brand and also your specific brand. We already talked about that before. And the pages don't have to be live. They don't have to be live when you first start off. If you don't have anybody to cross list onto them, if you have nothing to put on them, just park them for right now and then you'll use them later. So your products directly on Facebook. Remember, there's Facebook Marketplace and you can do Facebook Shops. Facebook Shops is another way to sell your products. Okay, Facebook Shops is easy to set up, and it's like having your front end like Shopify store. You can actually do an integration with Facebook Shops to Shopify as well. Create visual posts. So the great thing about Facebook and also Instagram is images matter. I talked to you early on about creating amazing images, making sure that your products that you're selling for your bundles have great images. Showing the item in use is going to help you get more traffic. When people are buying water bottles from people off of interest, they're buying them because they saw the product in use. They saw somebody going to go work out. There's a picture of the person. They're about to go work out or they're taking a drink after the workout is over. Or they're carrying it. Maybe it's has an attachment to their bicycle or I don't know, or a hook on their backpack or whatever it happens to be. So showing the item in use. You can schedule posts. Again, that whole VA can help you with that, especially around holidays or things that are specific to your niche. If I go back to autism, I literally could set up a whole campaign. Maybe I start working on the scheduled post campaign in April. So I write it out, draft it out, and have the VA implement it. And so she starts scheduling stuff in March heavily. Maybe before we were only doing one post every other day or one post a day. So maybe in March, we go from one post a day to 2 posts a day. And the second post is a product. And the first post is just an article or informational. And then in April, we literally crank it up and have 3 posts a day going. And so again, things that are going to help you get more traction organically and non-organically to your listings is going to help. You can announce your products on your Facebook fan page. Make sure you engage your customers. Again, maybe you ask them engaging questions on your Facebook fan page. Every other day or a couple times a week, you ask an engaging question and then you respond. Or maybe you take polls and so people, all they have to do is just click on a radio button. Because again, you're trying to have them find you. The other thing you can do is you can create your own Facebook group. So you can create if you're a grandparent, you can create a Facebook group for grandparents. If you have children that are on the spectrum, create a Facebook group related to autism, and you can occasionally drop products into that Facebook group and also drop surveys and questions and things like that. You can run ads, make sure that, you can use a Facebook ads pixel. That pixel will work for your Facebook and Instagram ads. And then you want to monitor your ads results if you're running Facebook ads and Instagram ads. So you can retarget the audience, maybe tweak the listing, maybe change out the image, maybe change out the text on your ads if you're running an ad. Okay. So Google, the first thing that we recommend, so if you've already created an ad campaign for Facebook, definitely you could probably use that same Facebook, the same ad campaign, copy the text and everything, and use it in your Google ads if you want to. You can run two different ones. That's fine as well, but develop your campaign in Google. Okay. Make sure you've already done all the other stuff first, like all the keyword research that we talked about before. So build out your keyword research. We talked about all of that. Make sure that your keywords that you're using are targeted to pick up existing traffic. So what are the search terms that people are using if we're going into a holiday? Again, as you can tell, I do a lot of, we're going into a specific time. So I'm going to target what's coming up. And then if I'm going to just target autism outside of that specific time, I have a series of words that I might use for that type of targeting. So the example difference would be just using autism as a regular search term that people are using. And then long tail keyword phrases like, what is it? Some things that people will organically search for is like how to treat autism. There's just therapies really, but how to treat autism. But if you're a new parent, you don't know what to search for, so it's like finding out you have cancer, how to treat cancer. So people start off with that, even though that may not be the right way to search it. So what would new parents type? And then what would existing people type to try and find out what are the product services that are available to people who have autism? And then when you get closer to April, we know that people are searching Autism Awareness Month, Autism Acceptance Month. So you might have long-term keywords like autism acceptance or autism awareness. So I change up some of those keywords because I know specific times of the year, they're looking for different things. And I want to incorporate that into my Google Ads strategy. And when you create Google Ads, you also, if you have a YouTube channel, you can set up your YouTube ads at the same time. So again, getting more traction and traffic to those listings. Make sure you choose a location that you're targeting. So again, if you're targeting in the US, you have the same targeting options inside of Facebook ads and Google ads. Where are you targeting? Am I targeting just US buyers? Am I prepared to handle international buyers? On the platform that you're selling on, are you prepared to handle international sales, or are you only selling and targeting to the US? So the more you can prepare yourself to be able to sell internationally and globally, long-term, bigger picture, you'll be able to run ads internationally and globally, and you'll be able to make money. You'll be able to make more consistent money all the time because of that. Not saying that the US doesn't spend enough money on products, because we do. We buy a lot of stuff here in the US, but developing the skill long-term, bigger picture to be able to sell globally is what you need to get to when it comes to your bundles. That is going to help you get to a place where your bundle and your brand gets known faster, and your bundle, your brand potentially gets purchased. And you can just sit back and relax in Tahiti with a Mai Tai and watch the waves in the water, if that's where you want to go. Or, some people like to go to cabin or go in the mountains or whatever it happens to be, wherever you want to go. So the faster you can get to a global implementation of your bundle and brand, the faster you'll get to a place where you can play the long game and sell your product, sell your brand, everything that goes with the brand. Make sure you have some keywords that people are looking for. And we've already talked about keywords. And then once it's built, make sure you build the same ad or similar ad on Bing. So again, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Bing ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. Those are really the five top ad strategy, and everything else is more of an organic strategy. Okay. So tell me, has this been helpful so far for you? Like today, did you learn something that you didn't know before? Did you get some information that's going to help you take your business and your branding approach and strategy to another level? Do you still recommend this class? Like, do you tell other people, look, you should probably look at this? Because I really do want people to come back to Amazon. I want people to feel like they're comfortable with selling on Amazon. I want them to make money. There's a lot of sellers that make a boatload of money on all these other platforms. They do. They make a lot of money on Shopify. They make a bunch of money on all these other platforms. And yes, Amazon has higher fees, all this other stuff. But I will tell you, Amazon has a lot of organic traffic. They're doing a lot to try and keep it all on the platform. That's not to say that there aren't people gunning for Amazon. So Google and Shopify and Walmart are all partnering together They're going after Amazon. So if you're not on those platforms, you probably should be looking into that as well. But did you learn something new that you didn't know before? Did you learn something new that that you're like, okay, I'm going to use this now. I'm going to use this strategy now to help me in my business. So when we have the image class, which day of the week, and I can't do Tuesdays. So are you guys available for a Wednesday, or should we do a Thursday or a Friday? So in the comments, when we do the image only, should we do a Wednesday, a Thursday, or a Friday? What is your preference? So type it in the comments so we know. Okay. All right, so that's not the right thing. So next week we're doing VAs. We're talking about VAs. So I'm looking for some responses in the comments. When would you like to do this? Any responses? Do we have responses in the comments? Not yet. Looking for some responses in the comments. So next week, what we're covering is we're going to talk about some order fulfillment strategies. If you're using a prep center, if you're doing a fulfillment center, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about hiring a VA. We're also going to talk about outsourcing, again, to a prep center and a fulfillment center. We're going to talk about subscription boxes. I'm excited about subscription boxes. They've been a thing, and I think they're going to continue to be a thing. We're going to talk about some other scaling your business, and then we'll have a list of tools that we definitely will recommend and refer to you. So a list of tools. All right, so let me go through the comments real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. I'm going to pull up the other sessions so we can go back over the other sessions real quick. And we're not going to go through all of them. Trust me, I'm not. But I do want to hit we're going to hit the highlights, guys. We're going to hit the highlights because we need to get the highlights. So we're going to hit the highlights. 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. I'm opening up another window. And then we're going to knock this out. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I talked about in session 4 or 5, I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I know this is a lot of great information we're giving you, and we want you to be successful. If you haven't figured it out yet, like, I'm not holding anything back. I really do want you to be successful. I want you to make this work for you and your business. I want to see people. I'm only successful if I see some of you actually get bundles out there into the universe. Like, if you take this training and you actually implement it and get some bundles out into the universe, then I will feel like, okay, I am a success. I actually did it. I actually helped some people be successful. Now, I'm not saying I don't already have some success stories, because I do, but I like to have more people have success stories as well. So we want to help you get your stuff out into the universe, and make sure that you get the information that you need. So I just shared the List Perfectly link, and then let's just do a quick recap of the stuff that I think are the most important things to think about when it comes to this bundles journey. So I'm going to start with session 1, and I'm just going to hit the highlights. That's all we're going to do is hit the highlights. So in session 1, for the highlights, and I think you guys can see my screen. It just takes a minute. The biggest thing in session 1 that I think is most important, one, I think you should have already established your goal. I feel like creating 1 bundle a week is realistic. So I would love for you all to get to a place where you create 1 bundle a week. Okay. That's my highlight that I think is going to be helpful. The other thing is, it's extremely important to me that you guys create a realistic work schedule. A work schedule is going to help you build a habit of consistency. Where we all fall short, including myself, is we don't have a habit of consistency. We're not either consistently doing product research, we're not doing niche research, we're not consistently listing, we're not consistently taking great pictures. And so You know, they say practice makes perfect, and that is not a true statement. It is perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice taking pictures all day long, but if you're not trying to get better at taking pictures, you're just going to have crappy pictures. So I was like, well, I practice taking pictures and I'm just crappy at it. No, you have to do things that you know are off. So this week I was working with my son on taking pictures of his products. And so I was like, okay, the angle in which you're taking this picture is off. The angle, you need to be taking it from above. You see that there's a glare on this. So it is not practice make perfect. It is the perfect practice, like practicing to be perfect. You have to improve every little thing that you do. Over time, you'll get better at it. But I think the consistency is going to help you at least build the habit of doing the things over and over again. And then each week after you're used to doing it over and over again, you can work to perfect one little thing. So maybe this week I'm going to get, or this month, maybe the whole thing I'm going to do is work on getting better at keyword research. That's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing all the habit forming things over and over again with the repetition. But my goal this month is I'm going to get better at keyword research. And then maybe next month, I'm going to get better at titling. And then next month, I'm going to get better at creating listings. And then next month, I'm going to get better at, so you're already doing these things. You're just going to make sure that you're mindful and you pay attention to getting better at the listings. I'm going to do better at creating listings. I'm going to do better about researching other people's listing titles and really paying attention to what they're doing. I'm going to get better at my photos. So maybe that's what you do the 5th month. But you figure out what it is you're going to gradually get better at. Building a real work schedule is going to help you with that. So, do those things that are going to help you grow your business to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million business. Get better at them over time. Because when you first start, you're not going to be perfect, and it's okay. But the goal is the long game. Are you still in it for the long game? Or are you going to start to get better? So figure out what your strategy is going to be, how many listings per week you're going to target, and then build a real work schedule so you can achieve that. I think in session 1, those are the biggest things that I think are most important out of session 1. I shared a lot of great information in session 1, but I think those are the biggest. So session 2, let's go pull it up. Session 2, I think for session 2, the branding and the niches. That is the only thing. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that's in session 2, but I think of all the things that are in session 2, figuring out your brand, figuring out your branding strategy, and niches. So get better at the branding, figure out your branding situation. Are you going to go generic first and then come up with a name for something once you figure out what your lane is going to be, what your niche is going to be? Figure that out. And then do the niche exercise. You have to do the niche exercise. Going through the process of breaking down the niches. I gave you this 10-step process. Get better at this 10-step process. If you do nothing else out of this training, I feel like the niche research and then the keyword research are the top 2 things. Because if you find the niche and you find the hole and you find the pain point, you can always go source for products to solve that problem. People think that, sourcing is a big deal, but it is not a big deal if you haven't found the pain point, the audience that's looking for the solution. You can source almost anywhere, but if you don't find the pain point to build the bundle for, you're just sourcing. It's not the same. There is a difference between finding products for grandparents and niching down to solving a problem that grandparents have. Who's going to buy more? Are people, I just throw some products out there for grandparents and that's it? Or finding products for those who have children on the autism spectrum or adults, or solving a problem in the autism community. If you solve a problem in the autism community, people are going to buy that product all the time. All the time. They're going to refer and recommend other people buy it. They're going to share that link organically. You'd be like, oh my gosh, like how many of you have gotten a link from a friend that said, you know what, I'm using this, you should try it. It's because they used it. How often would you like that to happen organically? So I feel like, of this training, going through this niche exercise, go back to session 2, do the niche exercise. It's going to pay you. It's going to pay you in millions of dollars if you do it and perfect it. And if you go through this niche exercise every single week to figure out what the niche is that you're going to serve for this bundle, then you find the keywords that are associated with it, and then you find the product, and you're like, okay, now I can put together a bundle. I got a bundle because I found my niche first, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's session 2. There's a lot of great information in session 2, but I'm just going to go with that. You have the listing checklist that's in there as well, so that you don't forget what are the things that you need to go through from a listing standpoint. Session 3. For session 3, I feel like the big thing in session 3, we continue to do niche research, product research, listing basics. So let's see, titles. So we did create an Amazon listing. I'm going to say photos. So go back through the photo training in session 3. That is the one thing that I think out of all of the stuff that's in session 3, go through the photo training. We're going to have a standalone photo training, but go through that so that way you have the opportunity to get better at creating photos. So we did go through the Amazon listing. If you've never created an Amazon listing, we did go through that. But the photo training, it was hands-on. So there's not a lot of image, there's not a lot of pictures in here for it. We actually did it real time. Like I brought up my laptop and I brought up my desktop and we did it real time. So go through that photo exercise, create your Canva account. If you haven't created your Canva account, do that. In session 4, the big thing in session 4, the thing that I would like for you to focus on, if you're going to go back through it, is I think we did a Walmart's listing at Etsy. Walmart's, if you are not selling on Walmart, the only thing I'm going to recommend is get our Walmart training and go through it. You're going to make it. Walmart is coming for Amazon. And I think that's going to be the next big platform. There's differences, there's complexity, go through that. Also, Facebook Marketplace is going to become an unsung hero when it comes to creating ads. So eBay and Etsy are always great. Go through the Walmart, how to create a listing, go through the Facebook Marketplace. If you need additional training on Facebook and Walmart, we have a Walmart mastery. It is gold. It is gold. And we had one person alone, I think, in her, she went through the Walmart training, just in half of Q4, not all of Q4. In half of Q4, she made over $20,000 from our Walmart training. So I'm just saying. And then Facebook Marketplace, we have done an amazing job with our Facebook Marketplace training inside of eCom Sellers Academy. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check out the Facebook Marketplace training. It's a 2-part series inside of eCom Sellers Academy. If you're not an Academy member, I invite you to join us. And session 5, it was a recap. So since session 5 was a recap, knowing your numbers and figuring out the math and going to go use the Excel spreadsheet that I gave you access to, go back and use the Excel spreadsheet that I gave you access to. Hold on, let me go to the bottom. So there's a hyperlink. I sent it to you in the email. So go and check out that, that spreadsheet, knowing your numbers. Go back and do the math for your numbers, calculating your numbers, use the Excel spreadsheet. Make sure that your goal is always to make anywhere 4x to 7x or even 10x what it costs you to make the bundle. Okay. So once you figure out the niche, which is the problem you're trying to solve, go backwards and we can figure out the sourcing. We can always work on sourcing and trying to get stuff for cheaper, not cheaper quality, but we can always work on getting stuff for less money. So figure out the calculator piece of it in session 5. That's the thing I think you ought to go back and check out. I would encourage you to do that. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. You can always go back and watch this and fast forward to the end. Session 6. In session 6, the thing that I think you should focus on in session 6, go through the sourcing strategies. Evidently, I have this open twice. But go through the sourcing strategies. The reverse sourcing and the primary sourcing strategies. Go through that. I think figuring out which tools you want to use. I think that's going to be helpful as well. So those are just like high level recap. And then today, in today's session, I think for today's session, when you go back and you watch this or you think about it, I really want to push you guys to not blink about signing up for the Amazon IP Accelerator program and going through the IP Accelerator program to come out on the other side of brand registry. I don't want you to blink. I want you to make a lot of money. There's a lot of millionaires, billionaires from Facebook, from Amazon. I want you to do that. And then I also want you to use Pingler. I want you to use the social signatures from Pingler and Ping Farm. I can say them. I think those are the good ones. Those are the big ticket items that I want you to take away from today's session. So with that being said, what questions do you have that I can help answer? Remember, we have a 2 o'clock Q&A. We also have, today is second Saturday, which we do an online e-commerce meetup. So you're welcome to join us there at 3 o'clock. It's online. So what questions can I answer in the chat? Please, by all means, share your questions. I hope that I gave you some things to think about in each one of the sessions that will help you in your business. So what questions can I answer? Renata may have been answering them this whole time. So I'm going to make sure that I jump in here and can read through and answer any questions that come up. So thoughts? All right, so we have some Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, fine with you. They will be in the evening. It probably won't be during the day. During the day, my kids are home, and oh my goodness, I love them, but I cannot wait for school to go back. I cannot wait for my kids to go back to school. I'm just going to be honest. I love my kids. Somebody please come take them. So anyway, even though we have help. All right. Well, I hope that you got some value out of today. If you have any questions, you can join me at 2 o'clock. Look for my email around our photo session. Remember, we don't have class the 19th, and we'll see you on the 26th. Let's get ready to get us some VAs. So can you go over 6 week, 4 week, 2 week processes? Okay. All right. Yes. The listing. So yeah, the listing sessions, definitely, like I step you through. We have all the images. We step you through creating that listing on Amazon, and then the fields you need to populate. Then we step you through creating the listing. The actual images are in the video. And then session 4, we start at the beginning. So we start with Walmart, and we go through Etsy, we go through eBay, we go through all of them. So yeah, like 8 weeks before the holiday. Oh, okay. I think, okay. So I think you're talking about if I am going to sell a specific product. I use the example of Autism Awareness Month. So I'm going to go back to that. That was the one that's immediately on my brain. So we know Autism Awareness Month is in April. If you don't know, it's in April. And so my strategy, my approach is if I know that Autism Awareness Month is in April, I'm probably going to start sourcing products in January. I'm always roughly around, depending on what it is, if it's a single day or if it's an entire month that I'm prepping for. If it's a day, I might start prepping for it 8 weeks out, meaning sourcing for it. So at 8 weeks out, I'm probably going to source for it. At 6 weeks out, I'm going to, and if I'm sourcing, I'm probably ordering samples, or I'm putting together product ideas and I'm writing them out. And then at 6 weeks out, maybe putting together, getting my samples in, putting my bundles together, creating my listing, taking my pictures, creating my listing, maybe, or I might create my listing 4 weeks out. Just depends on when I got my samples in and I've done my keyword research. So 8 weeks out, I begin the research for sourcing. 6 weeks out, making sure I have all my keywords, search terms, whatever. 4 weeks out, I'm going to go, this is for a single day, single day, Grandparents' Day. 8 weeks out, I'm going to go ahead, 4 weeks out, I'm going to go ahead and create that listing. And I'm going to cross-share it out from my Facebook page, to my Facebook page, to my Twitter, to my Instagram, to my Pinterest, to my whatever. I'm going to share it out. And maybe even have my kids or somebody create a YouTube video, or find a YouTube video that might be relevant to it. Okay. make sure I'm doing the backlinks. So that's 4 weeks out from the actual day of Grandparents' Day. And then from there, I'm going to also reach out to friends and say, okay, can you guys pull up this link? So 4 weeks out, pull it up. 3 weeks out, ask them to pull it up again. 2 weeks out, I might tweak the listing, maybe not, but I know I'm going to run it through Pingler and Pink Farm. Might run it through Pingler and Pink Farm at 3 weeks out, because at 2 weeks out, 2 weeks before Grandparents' Day, people are expecting that gift. They're going to start ordering the gifts so that they arrive in time for Grandparents' Day. That's one of those I wanted to arrive on the day, like Valentine's Day. I wanted to get there on Valentine's Day. It might get there a couple of days before. I really don't want it to get there a couple of days after. So I'm going to try to make sure that I'm ordering it probably 2 weeks before. So your sales for Grandparents' Day are going to really pick up about 2 days before the thing is happening, because it's a specific, distinct day. Whereas if I use the example of autism awareness, I'm going all the way out 3 months. So 3 months out, because it's a month, I'm going to go out in January and I'm going to start sourcing products. I maybe even started sourcing last year, because I'm one of those people, I buy stuff when it's on clearance after the fact. So when people are doing online arbitrage and they're redoing research, most of them are looking for stuff that's coming up. I'm buying stuff after the holiday was over so I can get it on clearance. So for those who don't know, after Valentine's Day is over, there's a bunch of stuff that's on clearance on a lot of these wholesale sites that you can get for even cheaper. So I'm that chick that goes out there even on those sites and gets stuff. So I'm going to go, and I may have already had inventory that I may have ordered or sourced and sent to my prep center. I might order it. I might do my product research in January, place my order, maybe get some samples, figure out what my potential bundles might be. And since it's an entire month, Autism Awareness Month, I'm not just going to do one bundle. I'm going to have a whole bunch of bundles. Like I might have 8 different types of bundles or 10 different types of bundles. So I'm doing some heavy work in January, maybe even starting in December. So I'm sourcing. Then after I sourced it, I'm going to move to the next phase of this journey, get my samples. And in February, I'm going to start taking my pictures and start pulling the bundle together, pulling my keywords together and all that other stuff. And I'm probably going to list that bundle for the first time, my first bundle at the end of February. And then I'm going to continue to strategically list a bundle in the February, every week in March, every single week in March, every single week in April. I'm going to saturate the market. I'm going to send my stuff through Pingler and Pink Farm starting at the end of February every single week. I'm going to send my stuff through Pingler and Pink Farm. And then as I'm in Autism Awareness Month, the entire month, I am going to send my stuff through Pingler probably every other day. I'm going to make sure that I cross-list it starting in February on other platforms. And I'm going to make sure that I send my social signals out. So sharing it from the source out to my Facebook fan page, my Instagram page, my Twitter page, whatever, sharing it out at the end of February. And then I might do a promotional type of post and reshare it again the middle of March or the end of March, so that way I've already got the traffic out there in the universe. And if people are looking for autism related products, I'm going to be able to be found and sourced. Is that what you were talking about? I think that's what Annette was talking about. So I have a timing. It depends on, sometimes I'm 8 weeks out and sometimes I'm 12 weeks out. It really does depend on if it's a day that I'm targeting or if it's a month. And if it's a huge thing, like Christmas is huge. So Christmas for me is always 12 to 16 weeks out, which is 3 to 4 months out. It's always 3 to 4 months. Whereas Grandparents' Day is not as big as Christmas Day. So I'm not going to sell as much. Valentine's Day is pretty big. So there's a lot of stuff that people are trying to get delivered for Valentine's Day. So again, I am always thinking about what the day is. Okay. All right. So did that help you, Annette? When you say putting up a sample thing. So I am actually ordering samples from, if I'm getting from a wholesale supplier, or maybe I'm getting some samples from China. So I'm going to order samples from China so that I get them in a certain amount of time. Sometimes it takes the samples to get here a month. So if I know that one of my sources is going to take longer than the others, and I've used them before in the past, I kind of have an idea how long it takes to get their stuff here. then I'm going to order their stuff in advance. I'm going to go to their catalog and order it in advance. If this is when I'm creating, I refer to these sometimes as just in time bundles. These are like seasonal, trendy, popular, holiday. So those are all the time. Those are like baseline money makers because the keywords are already in the universe. The keywords for autism and autism awareness are already in the universe at the end of March, beginning of April. It's just everybody's talking about it. It's on the news, it's on the radio, it's everywhere. Another thing would be like the World Series. The World Series is going to happen and people are going to be excited about it. So that keyword phrase is already out there in the universe and it's already going to happen on this day. So I'm going to be focused on reverse engineering and backing up. Let me go back 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. How many weeks back do I need to go in order to be prepared for potential sales before the World Series? So that's how I do it. How do you go about when you want to drop ship bundle items? So if I'm drop shipping, I'm actually going to put together my whole bundle idea. If I'm doing a virtual bundle, meaning I created it on the fly, I just grabbed some images from different places, cleared out the backgrounds, put them all together strategically, like I did in session 4, I think it was session 4, where I put all the images, or session 3. It was session 3, I put all the images together. Then I am going to put in the listing, because I've already gone through this, so just so you know. I'm going to go into the description and I'm going to say that these items are shipped separately. That's the first thing. The second thing, I am going to and make sure that they know that they're going to arrive separately. So it's sort of a virtual bundle if I'm doing it that way. If I'm working with a wholesaler and they're a distributor or manufacturer and they're putting it together for me, that's awesome. I like that even better. So they can drop ship it to my customer for me. So it just depends on whether or not I'm sending them separately or if I'm sending them together. But before I get to that place, I need to make sure I get my samples. So I need to order my samples from my suppliers or potential suppliers, because I might be getting pieces from different places. One piece from this place, one place from this, da, da, da. I put them all together so I can take this picture, maybe, or if there's a way I can do it virtually without having them all together, I might do that. Most of the time, I need to sometimes touch it because I talked about shipping. I got to know what this thing is going to be shipped in. I need to have an idea of what my shipping costs might be. I got to manage that. So in most cases, I need to have a sample. Unless I've sold this bundle before and I already have an idea of how much money I'm going to spend, I'm going to get samples and I'm going to put them together and I'm going to figure out my packaging and my weight. So I probably will have the items all together physically in my possession. And then once I have them in my possession, I take my pictures through my bundles. I can put my listing up that way. I will work with a manufacturer if they're going to put them together for me and ship it to my customer. That's great. If I am not going to work with a manufacturer and I'm getting the pieces all separate, then I'm going to take all those pieces and I may assemble my bundles at home myself and send it to a prep center so they can ship it to the customer when that listing is about to go live. Or so that's all in advance, 6 weeks in advance, whatever it happens to be, 4 weeks in advance. Or I might ship all the pieces individually to that prep center and have them assemble it, send them the picture of what they're assembling, and then let them assemble it and let them ship it to my customer. So it just depends on, do you have the money to have the prep center do it for you? Are you going to assemble it? Are you able to work something out with the manufacturer? The goal is long-term, if you can get it to where the manufacturer is pulling together all the pieces, even if they don't sell all the pieces and they can put it together for you, great. But if you're doing just-in-time bundles, that's not going to normally be the case. Where the manufacturers put stuff together, that's typically your niche related bundles. That's when you're really going to have the opportunity to have the manufacturer put it together and drop ship it to your customer for you. If you are doing just-in-time bundles, you're clearly more than likely buying your pieces from multiple sources and you have to assemble them. And then that assembly can go to a prep center or you can assemble them at home, you and your kids, and you can ship it to your customer. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And if I'm doing a straight up virtual bundle, like if I've already used all these suppliers, so in other words, there might be, I know there's different movies that are coming out. So I forget, I think My Little Pony, is that coming out this year? I forget what movie. So in the example of My Little Pony, because I think there's a movie, I don't remember. I've done enough movie character related bundles that I know who my suppliers are going to be. I literally could put together that virtual bundle without touching a thing because I've done enough of them. I know who all my sources are. I could put them together, meaning superimpose the images together into one big image, send that superimposed image off to a prep center and order all the individual pieces and have those individual pieces shipped directly to the prep center and they can assemble it for me because I've done that one over and over again. Doing movie bundles is easy for me. Like those are easy. I don't even have to think about them. Like I can figure out who I'm ordering. I'm going to get these crayons from here or these colored pencils from here, coloring books from here, puzzles from here, so and so from here. Like I know where I'm going. All right. I hope that was helpful to you guys. So Nicole, I just went through Autism Awareness Month, which is a whole month, same process. Oh yeah. Okay. So I hope all that was helpful to you guys. I hope you guys got value. I hope that I think Renata was responding. She sent it to the panelists. Okay, so so I'm going to copy some answers to the Renata type. She was trying to answer you guys, but I think she sent it to panelists and not to you all. So I'm going to back up a little bit. But she didn't change it, so I apologize for that. So yeah, Renata's been in here answering you guys, but she's not doing to all attendees when she's responding. So I apologize for that. Okay. I'm reading through everything, sorry. So everything I copy from this point forward is coming directly from Renata because she forgot to put and attendees. So I'm just copying and pasting what she just wrote to the panelists. That was from earlier. Way earlier. There's a lot of comments in here. Hold on, let me just expand this thing so I can see. All right. I gotta tell her a reminder to put it to all of, put it in. Okay, so Natasha, you had a question earlier, and this is Renata's response. And let me just see. Renata was, so there was somebody responding to you guys. I apologize. She just had to change the settings. Kathy had a question earlier. I'm scrolling, guys. Just give me a second. Here's the link for eCom Dash that she was sharing with you guys earlier. Oops. And we'll get them all in here. Just a sec. There's a whole bunch of answers. So I think Diane had a question. And I don't think that. I'm going to copy that one. Give me just a second. So Kathy, you had some questions. And here's Renata's answer to those questions about trademark and LLC. And then there we go. There's another answer to somebody's question about trademark and LLC. And okay. I think these are the majority of them. So these are all Renata's responses to the entire, they're just going to the panelists, which is me and her. And we have to change a setting in order for you guys to see us responding. So I'm just copying and pasting. So some of these apply to some of you guys and some of them don't. She was responding to somebody's question. So I just want to make sure I got them all in here before I move on. Okay, so my question to you all is, did I answer, or did she answer, did we answer all of you guys' questions? Did I get all your questions answered today? Please tell me whether or not I did. I'm trying to catch the thread. Did I make sense on how I was explaining? Because I always reverse engineer. So a calendar is my lifesaver. Like I could use a calendar to always strategically go back and figure out what I'm about to do. So when I'm saying you're creating a bundle every single week, just because that week I may be working on, I may say that this week I'm working on autism awareness. The first week of January the 1st, I'm going to work on autism awareness bundles and bundle ideas, but I might not create that listing for the first time until maybe the end of February. It may take me to the end of February to create that listing, or the middle of February to create that listing, because I'm starting the journey of I'm being intentional to say I'm going to create a bundle. So that listing may not go live until the end of February. So when I count my new listing, 52 listings a year, one new listing a week, I count that in that week of February, the last week in February. So then I have whatever work I was doing for March. I probably started that work either 6 weeks before, 8 weeks before, 12 weeks before. I typically am always before. Okay. Does that help? Does that make sense? All right. So all I want to hear is who is going to be making some bundles and going to be sharing a bundle so that we can see how amazing this is for you and your journey. Who's making a bundle? Who's making a bundle? Who's making a bundle? I want to see some bundles. I want to see some people with bundle ideas and concepts. I want to see people crush it. I want to hear about you guys. I want to hear you sitting on the couch of some morning TV show about some amazing product that you created to solve a problem, a bundle that you created where your profit margins are like $60 a pop and you sold 2,000 of them in your first week. Like, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I want to see some bundles. I want to see some bundles. I want to see some bundles. Yeah. So yeah, and if you're still at the beginning of your journey, then it's okay. If you're still at the beginning of your journey on bundles, go back and rewatch the training. There's a lot of gold in the training. I know they're long. Today was 2 hours, so I apologize, but they are worth it. I'm looking at in the future, instead of this being like an 8-week session, it might end up being a 12-week session because there's just so much content to cover, but it is great content and it will get you results if you apply it. I promise you'll get results. You will get results. And what will happen is your results will gradually get better. Your results, like, oh my gosh, where you started, just think about your first listing when you created your first listing on Amazon, or you created your first listing on eBay or wherever. And then, now you've created 2,000 listings or 5,000 listings. Your journey has gradually gotten better, and that's the goal. So when you first start, you'll stumble through it, you'll make mistakes, it'll be all sloppy, you'll be frustrated. But over time, you stick with it, you will get better at it. It's like walking. We all had to learn how to walk. We fell a lot when we first started. Our center of gravity was way off. We looked like a bunch of drunk little babies. But we eventually got it together, and now we walk normal like humans. We walk normal. So, all right. Well, I hope this has been a blessing to you guys. I hope that you go out and crush it. Go back and rewatch the training, and keep plugging away in your journey. And I'm grateful that you're on this journey with us. I really do want to hear some success stories, and look out for my emails, and we'll go from there. I will talk with you all later. Have an amazingly blessed Saturday. Bye for now.